Growing up, my parents worked their butt off. They were working around the clock, 7 days a week. And I remember when we used to go to family get-togethers, my parents would always tell me and my little brother that we need to wear a polo shirt. We had a few shirts that were nicer from the polo company that had that little horse on it. And they would always say, make sure that you can see the horse. Get a shirt that has the horse on it. That way people think that you're successful and they know that you're successful because you have a polo shirt on. Now, I didn't really understand much about what was going on at the time, but I listened to what my mom said and I wore these polo shirts. Now, we were not broke by any means. Like, I never worried about where my next meal was going to come from. I was never worried about how we were going to pay for the bills, but my parents were still working their butt off. Like, they were working around the clock. My dad would barely even get holidays off, but the whole idea was at least you look like you're successful. Now, fast forward to today, I've achieved a much different level of success, and I don't remember the last time I bought something with that horse on it, the polo. I mean, I like some polo clothes. If I like something, I'll buy it, but I have no need or urgency to go out and buy this or to show it off. And I talked to my dad about this, and he does most of his shopping at Costco now, and he laughs about it because there's this whole idea of trying to look more successful than you actually are. And the number one reason why so many people are broke today is because you're spending all of your money trying to look rich. The first time I had more than $1,000 in my bank account, I was in high school from all these side gigs that I was running. And as soon as I had $1,000 in my bank account, I immediately went out and I bought the shiniest, most sparkliest watch that I could find. It was a $1,000 watch. I took all the money that I had and I went out and I bought this watch. It was covered in crystals. I still have that watch. I really need to bring it onto YouTube so you can see it. But I bought this stupid watch that way I would look rich, but in actuality, that watch was keeping me broke. This single mindset of trying to look rich before you're actually rich is what keeps so many people broke, because what happens is you make money and then you have to make sure that everybody else around you is rich before you are rich yourself. So as soon as you get paid, you make sure that Apple gets paid, you make sure that Lululemon gets paid, you make sure that Gucci gets paid, you make sure that Amazon gets paid, you make sure that everybody else gets paid, and then you're left with the scraps. Once you break out of that mindset, then it almost becomes a game of trying to figure out how you can stop spending so much money on things that you don't need. Traditionally, Indian people make $1 to spend 20 cents, while American people make $1 to spend $2 thanks to the help of credit cards and lines of credit. Now, neither of these things are right or the best thing that you can do with your money, but what you need to understand is we live in a spending culture. Our culture is designed to make you spend money, which is why you need to have this financial education and understand how this works. That way you don't go into debt to buy a whole bunch of things that you don't need, because now you are a slave to your banks. You owe your banks money, and anytime you get paid, the first thing you do is you buy all the stuff that you don't need, and then you pay off your banks, and then whatever's left is what you use to build your wealth. And at that rate, you will never become wealthy, because all of your money is going out to make your banker rich, and it's going out to make Amazon, Lululemon, and Gucci rich. The simplest way for me to explain this is if it does not put any money in your pocket, you should not be financing it, period. If you don't have the money to buy it in full, in cash, you can't afford it yet. This includes doing 0% APR on your phone and financing your car. If you don't have the money to buy these things outright, you should not be going into debt to buy them, because these things are not going to make you any more money. Now, I understand you can use your phone in your business. I understand you can use your car to get to and from work. But if you don't have the money to afford it, don't go into debt to buy it. I get it. You need a phone for your business. Maybe go back a couple generations of iPhones. That way you can buy it for a few $100s instead of paying $1,000 that you finance over time. And even though it's 0% APR, there's a reason why 0% APR is so profitable for banks and companies. When you go out and you buy a bunch of things with 0% APR, you don't feel that pain of spending money, because $1,000 isn't leaving your account today. You're just putting it on a payment plan for the next 12 months, and then you can go out and buy even more things with the help of 0% APR. So now you're going out and buying a whole bunch of things that you wouldn't have otherwise, and now you're putting all these things on 0% APR, and then what happens for so many people is you don't pay off your items, you don't pay off your cell phone and everything else in time, so now you get slapped with an 18 to 25% APR interest rate. And now you're stuck back in the payments game, trying to pay off your banker, trying to pay off these companies. That way you can finally have some freedom back. Now, you can use debt to make you wealthier, but wealthy people are not going into debt to buy their cell phone. Wealthy people are not going into debt to buy a car that they can't actually afford. Wealthy people are using debt to make themselves wealthier by using this money to finance assets, which are making them money instead of financing liabilities, which are losing them money. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.